Welcome to the Great Loop Radio podcast, brought to you by America's Great Loop Cruisers Association. We're dedicated to sharing Great Loop information and inspiration with those actively cruising, planning for, or dreaming about a Great Loop adventure. I'm Kim Russo. I'm the director of AGLCA. Today, we're going to talk about our very important sponsor program. And we feature some of our sponsors here sharing their expertise pretty frequently, but we don't generally cover the program as a whole and its importance to the overall health of AGLCA and how helpful it can be for loopers. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And Karen Nettles from the Homeport crew will be with me to discuss that. As always, before we dive in, I do want to take a moment to recognize and thank our Admiral sponsors who support AGLCA at the highest level. They are Kathy All. She is a certified financial planner with Edward Jones, Great Loop Yacht Sales, Passage Maker Trawler Fest, Skipper Bob Publications, and Waterway Guide Media. As always, we encourage our listeners and viewers to support these businesses that support the Great Loop. And with the sponsor recognition done, I want to welcome Karen Nettles back to the podcast. Karen, thanks for joining me again.
Always glad to be here.
Yeah, it's always a joy to have you here to help me bring forth some of the important information that we have here at the Homeport Cruise. So where should we jump in today?
Like you said, we're talking about sponsors today, and that may be something that we've not necessarily talked about before. So why don't we just start from the top and tell us how the program started?
So yeah, the program dates down back to around the year 2000. AGLCA was founded in 1999. The sponsor program in its very initial stages started shortly thereafter. And we've compared it to this before in different platforms, probably not here on the podcast, but it almost started kind of like the Little League baseball team where a local business would sponsor the team. And it really kind of started like that. Some marinas that appreciated having loopers there would become a sponsor of the association and thereby express their support. And that was the very beginning. Shortly thereafter, they started to put ads for those sponsors in the Great Loop Link, which is our association newsletter that has been going out since 1999. And you can see in the back issues how some of those early sponsors are still with us today.
Yeah, of course, we have some longstanding sponsors. So can you tell us how the program has changed since the early days of AGLCA?
Yeah, so it's really grown substantially. Where in the beginning it was just a few marinas, we've now got sponsors that run the gamut of services that can assist people who are planning or doing the loop. So it's gone from just marinas to where we've got yacht brokers that can help you find a boat and insurance agents that can help you insure the boat and financing people and training captains that can help you get used to the boat, delivery captains, and of course the marinas, boat yards, all of the services that you may need along the way for the loop. It's also changed in that it's become, as we've grown in the last 25 years, it's had to become a little bit more formalized, if you will, even though we're a pretty laid back group of people. But the sponsorships are year-long sponsorships that just really continue, just like it did in the early days, to express these businesses' appreciation and support of AGLCA and loopers. So it's morphed a little bit. We have certainly added a lot more benefits for sponsors over the years, as the association has offered more benefits to members than we did in the early days. That has also given us a platform to also kind of beef up the benefits that go out to our sponsors. So at this point, the sponsorship packages include a mix of advertising on our website, in our newsletters, and at our in-person events. So it's a pretty comprehensive package at this point that our sponsors enjoy.
So what is the sponsor program's purpose? You've alluded to, members getting information and what the benefits are for the sponsors. What's the additional purposes of it?
Yeah, well, so at its core, it is an advertising program. That is what the sponsors are getting. In addition to showing their appreciation, they are getting this advertising package that I mentioned. But it also serves to offset the membership dues because we have a robust sponsor program. And many thanks to Joanne Smith, who is our sponsor coordinator, that program has grown. And because of that, the revenue stream for AGLCA of those sponsor supporters is substantial enough that it really helps to offset the dues that we have to charge members every year. So there's a big win-win there. The sponsors get advertising and they get to put their name and their business and their services in front of one of the most active group of boaters out there. And the boaters get lower dues, but also information and access to these services that are really much needed on the loop.
And it's important for the sponsors because it's a niche thing, and then also for the boaters because they get a lot out of it. And speaking of the sponsors, how many do we have? How many do we have over the years? How much has it grown?
It has grown tremendously. Um, when I first got involved with AGLCA, which I believe was around 2007 to 2008, somewhere in that time frame, I think there were well less than 50 sponsors. Today we have close to 250 sponsors. So it's grown substantially. And we are so thankful to each and every one of them for what they do for our members and for what they do for the association.
Yeah, for sure. So why should our members care about the sponsorship program?
Yeah, that's a great question. First of all, I mentioned that it helps to keep dues lower. AGLCA, just kind of to simplify things, it's a three-legged stool in terms of the financial part of AGLCA. We have a revenue stream from membership dues, we have a revenue stream from our sponsor program, and then we have a revenue stream from events. So, the classic three-legged stool, if one of those isn't there, the stool collapses. So, at the very most basic level, that's why sponsors or members should care. Without those sponsors, membership dues have to go up for the association to continue to be around. But it's really more than that why members should care. As I said, these sponsors are providing much needed services for loopers. So we have many members who have never had a boat or have never had a boat that you can actually live aboard. And it's a very different process than buying, a weekend runabout. So sponsors can help with every facet of that, and they tend to share their expertise. You've heard it here on our podcast, where sponsors come in and really assist, providing that expertise and that knowledge. So it's not just a financial gain for members on their membership dues. It's also really access to these products and services that they might not otherwise know about. So if you previously didn't care, I hope you'll take that to heart and start to kind of think about the usefulness of having these businesses and having direct access to them. The other thing that's kind of interesting about the sponsorship program is that AGLCA members talk. So it's a very close-knit community. The fact that somebody's a sponsor means they're plugged into that community, they care about that community, but it also means that they're going to strive to provide you stellar service, because not only are they raising their hand and saying they want to do that with their sponsorship dollars, but they also know that this is a close-knit community. So if something doesn't go right, they know everybody talks, and it's just an added incentive for them to make sure that they give extra care and attention to loopers coming through the marina or coming through the boatyard or purchasing a boat.
For sure. And speaking of lower dues, that's not the only benefit members get out of the sponsor program. So can you kind of outline some of the other benefits they get besides the dues?
Yeah, and it actually is substantial. Many of our sponsors offer discounts to our members. So there are opportunities to save on fuel. There are opportunities to save on dockage. Lots of different promotional offers made by our sponsors to our members. So many of our members tell us that the discounts that they get from our sponsors more than pays for their membership dues. So in addition to offsetting it from the start and helping us keep the membership dues lower, you can actually recoup what you're spending on membership by taking advantage of the offers that our sponsors put out there. In addition to that, though, each and every one of our sponsors has a pile of free AGLCA memberships to give away each year to their customers. So you just ask them. If you go to a sponsor marina, if you use a sponsor broker, ask them for one of the codes for a free year of AGLCA membership. And that is not just for new AGLCA members. If you're an existing member and you're out on the loop and you stop at a marina, ask them for the code that'll get you an additional free year of AGLCA membership. It's one of the things that we give to sponsors to help entice members to stay there. And it's also a benefit. It's kind of a bonus that we give to members because they're doing business with a sponsor. So it's another one of those win-wins. But the other thing, sponsors help make our events what they are. If you've been to a rendezvous, you have seen, 20 or so sponsor exhibitors there who are providing knowledge. Many of them are presenters. They're providing giveaways. And many of our sponsors, even if they can't attend the event, send us stuff for our swag bags. So, you'll be getting all kinds of things when you attend in a lovely insulated tote, thanks to Sterling Associates. And that reusable tote comes chock full of other things that our sponsors are sending for you to have at the event. They also provide some very generous door prizes at each of the events. Great Loop Yacht Sales has been giving away $100 West Marine gift cards. So these sponsors really go above and beyond to make the event special. And, I mentioned some of the little things, but again, if you've been to a rendezvous, you left there with a notebook that is branded. You left there with a name badge that is branded. Instead of having the basics or none of this stuff, sponsors like Great Loop Yacht Sales on those last two have stepped up to provide nicer things for our events that our members get to have. But most, first and foremost, it is that knowledge that those sponsors are there sharing with members at those events. So it's really a symbiotic relationship for sure. Let's just take a quick break and play a message from some of those sponsors. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation on our sponsorship program and why you should care. We'll be back in a moment. Orca Marine is revolutionizing the way we boat with sustainability at the helm. Based in Maine, we provide eco-friendly marine solutions that protect your vessel in the ocean. Say goodbye to toxic bottom paints with Finsolate anti-fouling wrap. Experience whisper quiet power with HYG electric thrusters, and manage biofouling naturally with ShipCare Pro. Whether you're a weekend cruiser or a commercial captain, we help you go green without compromise. Ready to make waves in sustainability? Visit finsolateusa.com or orca100.com and join the future of clean boating today. Orca Marine, protecting boats and oceans, one innovation at a time. The Boat Galley will make your boat life better. They offer 8 online courses on topics related to living on a boat, such as how to store everything you'll need, living with a smaller fridge, taking a dog with you, and effective use of your VHF. Their quick reference cruising guides will simplify your life underway, giving quick answers to questions like, where's the next fuel stop? Or how high is that bridge? The Boat Galley Cookbook and its 800 boat-friendly recipes, including 75 Docktail appies and 40 drinks, will make cooking aboard a snap. Get 10% off purchases with code AGLCA. We're back on the Great Loop Radio podcast. Today we are telling you all about our sponsorship program and why it's important to members, to sponsors, and to the organization. So Karen Nettles from the Homeport Crew is with me. Karen, where did we leave off?
We just kind of highlighted some of the benefits that members get in addition to lower dues. And you alluded to how the sponsorship program is a part of a three-legged stool. So how can members ensure that that three-legged stool stays in place financially?
The best thing you can do is visit our sponsors, use their services, make sure they know when you're there that you're a looper and that you're part of AGLCA and that you appreciate them. I think that's probably the best thing to continue this win-win of having a robust sponsor program.
Yeah, for sure. And is there a way for members to refer a sponsor? Because obviously there's a lot of other businesses out there that aren't sponsors at the time, and loopers may go there. So how can they refer them?
Yeah, absolutely. And there is an incentive for members to refer a sponsor. We do extend your membership. I believe it's by a year for free if a sponsor you refer signs on to become a sponsor. So if you have a business in the marine industry or a business that could otherwise help loopers that you'd like to refer, there's a couple of ways, very simple ways to do that. You can either send an email to sponsors@greatloop.org. Very simple, sponsors@greatloop.org. Or you can just fill out the regular contact form on our website. We're a very small team, so it's not going to get lost behind some giant organization. The general contact form, if you just tell us why you're reaching out, that you have a sponsor to refer and give us the details, we will take it from there. Joanne will reach out to the business, and if they sign on, Julie will go ahead and extend your membership free of charge. So don't hesitate to let us know if there's some businesses out there that you think would be valuable additions to our sponsor program.
And speaking of sponsors, how do our members go about finding sponsors on the website?
Great question. There's a couple of ways to do that. I'll probably tell you kind of what my favorite are. If you are cruising and you're looking for a marina, the best way to do that is with the interactive map that is both on the greatloop.org website and in the AGLCA app. Reason being, sponsors are shown geographically on those maps, obviously. So it's easy to zoom into the area that you will be cruising, tap on the little icons for the sponsors, and find out about the sponsor and whether they're offering any promotional offers or discounts. So that's the geographic way, and that certainly makes the most sense if you are out there cruising looking for a boatyard or a marina. The other option is in our sponsor directory. The sponsor directory has categories, so that's probably more valuable while you're planning and while you're searching for the boat, because you can filter the directory down to just yacht brokers or just insurance agents or delivery captains, so that you can find the services you need when the geography of that service is not nearly as important. That is also the comprehensive place to see all of the sponsor offers and discounts. So you can go to the sponsor directory and filter for dockage discounts or fuel discounts. You can find the sponsor directory by simply going to greatloop.org/sponsors. You'll find everything there about the sponsor program, including a link to the sponsor directory. So again, two ways to find sponsors. All of them are in that sponsor directory and all of them are on the map. But depending on your mission at that particular moment, sometimes the directory is better, sometimes the map is better.
Good to know that there's multiple ways to find it based on what they're looking for and so forth. Speaking of other sponsors or potential sponsors, we know that there may be someone listening that would like to reach out to our members. They're, have their own business that would be attractive to loopers. So how can they learn more about the sponsorship program and participate that way?
Absolutely. If you are a marine business or a business that otherwise would like to put the word about your company in front of a group of very active boaters, you can go to the same page I mentioned already, greatloop.org/sponsors. On that page, you'll see a graphic that you can click on if you are interested in becoming a sponsor. There's also a graphic there for our existing sponsors if you want to learn more and, a refresher on the sponsor benefits, because there are a lot of them. And we find that, over time, when somebody's been with us as a sponsor for a long time, they start to forget all of the options that are available to them. So there's a look there at both becoming a sponsor and a look at the sponsor benefits if you're already a sponsor. So again, all things related to the sponsor program, whether you're a business that's interested or whether you're an AGLCA member, greatloop.org/sponsors, and you'll find links to everything right there.
Okay. And shifting gears a little bit, our sponsors do, they're very important to us and they do a lot of valuable things for us as an association and for the members. So we have a special award for them, a Sponsor of the Year award. So can you tell us a little about that?
Yeah, the Sponsor of the Year award is something that we started in 2018 to kind of recognize those businesses that are really going above and beyond for our members. So each year, leading up to the Fall Rendezvous, we open a period of nominations where any member can nominate any of our sponsors and tell us why they're giving that nomination to that sponsor, what they did to really go above and beyond in providing some really great service to that member. Once we've compiled the nominations, we open it up to voting. So we list those finalists, we let our members choose the Sponsor of the Year. And as I said, we started it in 2018. Curtis Stokes and Associates won that first year, as well as in 2023. Ask Captain Chris won in 2019. SK, which is a marina on the Erie, won in 2020. Waterway Guide won in 2021. Delaware City Marina in 2022. Heritage Harbor Marina in 2024. So those are Sponsor of the Year winners to date. We will be opening up nominations for the next Sponsor of the Year probably around September. So a few months from now, you can start to look for notifications coming out. But in the meantime, start paying attention to the ones that you're using and what they're doing for you. And for the ones going above and beyond, please don't hesitate to give them some recognition by nominating them for Sponsor of the Year. Anything we've missed? Anything else you think it's important for people to know, Karen, about our sponsors?
I think we did a pretty good recap. Obviously, like you said, you gave a shout out to Joanne. Joanne Smith does a wonderful job with the program and has grown it over the years. So, like I said, people can reach out to her if they want to know more about sponsorship. And then you've outlined what members can do to go to the website to figure out how to use their benefits and so forth.
Yep, there's a lot of information available at your fingertips, greatloop.org/sponsors, or by email, sponsors@greatloop.org. So we'll put those in the show notes. But we appreciate everyone joining us today and letting us explain to you about our sponsor program, and whether you knew about it before or not. Hopefully now you have the details and we've inspired you to go out and appreciate those sponsors for us. We certainly here at the Homeport Crew appreciate those sponsors and everything they do for our members and for the association as a whole. So if you are a sponsor out there, kudos to you. Many thanks. We appreciate you. Thanks to everyone for watching, and thanks to Karen for joining me again today. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Great Loop Radio podcast. Until then, safe cruising.